Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 112 of the Video Games Ahoy Podcast. Woo! I realized that my script still says 111th birthday, and I almost said birthday then because I was doing a Lord of the Rings gag for the 111th episode last time. And I have also still got written, I'm your host, John O'Baggins, but today I'm joined by Callum Hurley and his lovely green background if you are listening to this. And a returning hero himself with a gorgeous beard is DaffeeG!
Hello there.
Yeah, General Kenobi. Someone had to finish that off.
Absolutely.
Callum, I'll get to you in a sec and your lovely green background. But Dav, it's nice to have you back. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, good, man. Busy.
Busy bee.
Work is whipping me. Busy, but good busy. So, you
That's
take
good.
what you get.
That is good.
Yeah, how are you, gents? Callum, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. I am coming to the end of my time off work, so kind of the opposite. Just for you, I had surgery last month, so I've been off recovering. But I'm back to work next week, and I can't tell if I'm very happy or very sad about it yet. But yeah, no, all
You're
good.
very happy for a day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Callum, did you get to play all those games? Because I know you said you're gonna pretty much just try and beat as many games as possible. Did you actually get the chance to do it, or was it just like?
Oh, we lost you a bit there, Johnny.
Oh, sorry. Am I? Right. There could be gremlins. Do apologize. We'll just see how this goes.
Still good. I can hear you again now.
Okay. Cool. Basically, I was just asking. How did you get to finish many games?
Didn't play nearly as much as I was hoping to, which is just always the way. But yeah, a few bits. So what have I played through recently? I've actually been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 lately, but I'm coming towards the end now of Yakuza 3.
Nice.
Playing through the Yakuza franchise with one of my friends who's a big fan. And actually, I think I'll be done with that in our next play session. I've got 2 chapters left, and they go by pretty quickly.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying that. Other than that, I was mostly playing older games, to be honest. I dug out the Vita.
Wow.
And I don't know. I just got in the mood for it. So I played through God of War 1.
Nice.
Which I'd actually never done before. And I'm going to start 2 soon.
Awesome. That is awesome. Because there's a load of God of War games on the Vita and I'm not sure it's the PSP. ACP is here. Wait, and we had a subscription as well from Samdelf the Grey. I'm really enjoying that name.
That right there is my buddy Sam, who I'm playing through the Yakuza franchise with.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Come on in, Sandolph.
Awesome. Right, let's just get into the news, because what I was going to suggest is there's a couple of news stories we're gonna just get through first, and then we'll talk about the Microsoft Direct, which obviously is happening in the next 25 minutes. So we'll spend about 20 minutes doing a podcasting, which we'll then put out online, and then we'll stop. We'll have like a 2-minute sort of refresh, as it were, as we get everything ready, and then we'll just go straight into the Xbox Direct. So let's just crack on with some news. We'll do some we do have some Microsoft stuff to talk about. We'll leave that for now, and we'll come back to that because there's quite a lot to talk about, and I think it kind of fits into the same kind of package. So we'll talk about The Last of Us first, because that is actually there's 3 big stories from Microsoft on here, and that was the next one on my list. We'll just talk about that really quickly. And the new TV show is out, and it's getting really good reviews and really good viewings. The viewing figures are very good for both episodes. I think it had the highest new premiere for the last 10 years after House of Dragon, which is Game of Thrones, one of the biggest TV shows of all time. So that was 4.7 million watching the first episode. That was pretty impressive. What's more impressive though is that it's actually had the highest, what is it? I'll read this out because it'll make more sense than me talking. HBO has claimed that the second episode of The Last of Us saw record growth in terms of viewing figures from the show's debut, where it attracted 5.7 million viewers. So it's an extra 1 million viewers compared to the episode 1, which is pretty sensational, actually. So it's up 22% compared to the first episode. This marks the largest week to audience growth for a HBO original drama series in the history of the network, which is pretty impressive when you consider some of the shows that have come through HBO, Sopranos, and all those great things. The Wire as well, I think, which is a great show. Gents, I've seen both episodes. I am loving it. I'll be completely honest. I've loved it. I loved it so much that I went onto my PlayStation 5 and downloaded the 2-hour demo for The Last of Us, and I was playing. I was like, shit, do I need to spend £65 to play this again? Thankfully, I stopped myself. But have either of you two seen the episodes yet so far? And if you have, what do you think?
So I haven't seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I do plan to. But I would say it's very interesting that kind of rise from week 1 to week 2 is basically a bunch of people were like, what? It's based on a video game. No, thanks. And then everyone turned around and go, no. I mean, it is, and it's good.
Yeah.
Like, come and watch it. And then everyone's going, oh, okay, I'll check this thing out. What is it? The Last of Us? Okay, I'll check it out.
I heard someone talking about it in the gym earlier. Like
that's cool.
Literally, I was in
Video games.
I was in the gym nerding out, doing nerd things like lifting weights with my wife, and I just
leveling up.
Leveling up. I heard someone literally talking about it. He was saying, "Oh, there's this new TV show called The Last of Us." So I was just listening, going, "Fucking, this is so cool!" Like Sick. It's breaking, but it was really cool. I think we spoke about this before. Chernobyl is a very good show, and Craig Mazin was the creator of that as well. So like. It carries a very similar kind of tone in how serious it takes itself, in how serious it treats the topics and all those things. It's very good. Callum, have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Thoughts,
I'm watching each episode on the Mondays. Huge fan. It's something that I was optimistic about because similarly, Chernobyl was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Neil Druckmann being as involved as he is, I thought was a good sign anyway. But in general, I think it's always good to be hesitant when it comes to video game adaptations. But no, I think they've absolutely smashed it out of the park. The changes they have made, I think, have all been for the better.
I agree.
I'm loving these cold opens we're getting, where we're getting a little bit of a glimpse of the world in the lead up to the outbreak. I'm hoping we get more of that going forward, but no, I'm loving it, and I think it's been superbly cast.
Yeah, it really has. Bella Ramsey is just they're amazing. Yeah, so good.
I think if they can keep this consistent quality up for the whole season, which I'm sure they can, I'm sure it will be without a single doubt the best video game adaptation there is, if it's not already.
I agree. I mean,
Castlevania is effing fantastic.
It is. I haven't watched the last season yet.
I've heard it's good.
I have seen it's great.
It's good.
I have heard it's good. And there was we had this conversation the other day as well. There was another one. League of Legends did a TV show.
Arcane, right?
That's apparently supposed to be really good. And is Edge Runners as well from Cyberpunk? Apparently that's also really good. Yeah. So like it's quite nice that like, and to be fair, I think like when we think of bad video game films, we do tend to think of like the early noughties and the 90s when, our generation is now making these films, and our generation grew up loving video games and taking them a bit more seriously than the generation before. Like, it's just the thing. Let's just whatever. Like not really understanding it. Whereas now you get like people who have embraced it fully and gone, no, I want to send a love letter to this thing, and it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome.
You can tell we're getting there. It's one of those things that it bothers me quite often when I do see video games come up, even as just a thing like a character's doing in a film. Even to this day, you still get like Space Invaders sound effects played over it. Someone will be full on holding a PlayStation 4 controller in a scene, and you're hearing like Pac-Man in the background because for a lot of people in that industry, and as you're right, it is starting to change. But a lot of people, that is still what gaming is in their minds. And there was a comment, I think it was granted, funnily enough, actually from Craig Mazin, but said something like, the reason that Last of Us is so different is because other video games are, just jumping on enemies and collecting coins. And it's just kind of funny, the idea that, like, The Last of Us, it's funny, the idea that that's, like, the first game they reckon that's broken that tradition. But it's just that thing of yeah, more and more people are starting to take games seriously and actually look at modern games and stop thinking of them as these arcade games from the 70s and 80s
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember that Doom film with The Rock?
Yes.
that went into first person for the last 10
Yes.
minutes.
Yeah, that first person sequence is incredible. Oh, I love it.
That's amazing. And so we got the Mario movie came out this year, and I'm quietly positive about that. I've liked everything I've seen. Maybe not so much. I mean, I'm not the Chris Pratt of it all is just a thing, but like I don't hate it. I kind of laugh at it, and I'm like, I'll get over it after 5 minutes, and I'll probably enjoy the film. But
It's not the end of the world for me.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, I'm I am excited, and I will go and see that in the cinema. But yeah, it's good. It's legitimizing video games as like a thing as well, which is very nice. And yeah, great. It's a great TV show. I would recommend it to anyone if they like the game. Right. So the next thing we'll talk about really quickly before we go into the Microsoft stuff, because I think we've got about 10-15 minutes, which seems about enough time, is GoldenEye 007 is coming to the Nintendo Switch and Xbox consoles in 2 days. It is being announced. So the Switch version of the N64 Classic will be available to subscribers of Nintendo Switch's online expansion pack tier, and it will include online play. And there was a pair of trailers released on Wednesday, one for the Xbox and one for the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo Switch. Interestingly, the Xbox doesn't have online multiplayer, but it has local multiplayer, whereas the Switch has online multiplayer, but not and local multiplayer, which I found. But the Xbox version has everything's been sort of looks nicer, so it's kind of it's one of those weird things. I mean, realistically, I'll probably just play the Switch one because I don't care that it looks that bad. I played the original last year on stream, which is great fun. But yeah, DaffeeG, you particularly, are you at all intrigued to complete GoldenEye on your Xbox?
I am, and I've famously have poo-pooed GoldenEye and said it aged extremely poorly because it has.
It has. It's not
but part of that is the N64 controller. And obviously, when they're bringing it to Xbox, they're going to change the controls so that they are the modern sort of move with your left, look with your right, as opposed to the sort of stop, turn, shoot, stop, turn, shoot. Like you have.
If they said that,
actually,
they haven't.
I haven't looked.
Yeah, but
and if they have,
tweet,
then great. I will probably give it a go on Xbox. But
yeah, so their pinned tweet says only 2 days until you get to experience Damn with an Xbox controller for the first time. Which doesn't say that they're doing that, but I feel like why mention the controller unless you're going to do something about it?
Yeah.
And like they're going to want the best version on Xbox, right? So even though the online is on Switch, they're going to want it to be modernized on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep. We are going to have to play the Switch version. Just as a group, we need to just have a go at the multiplayer. And what I find really funny is that like Nintendo have not done anything more than just gone, okay, this part of the screen is just your Switch. That's all. So you can all see where everyone is running to. There's nothing. They haven't done anything else. Your Switch is essentially a controller. And you can see, everyone can see the screens. So that is kind of funny. But I am excited to give it another go. What's really funny is the best version of GoldenEye was one that leaked. The XBLA version from last year that did have those upgraded controls and did have fancy graphics as well. And they could do the Halo thing as well, where you press a button and it flicks between the two graphics, which is a shame they're not doing that one. But
it blew my mind when they announced this that it wasn't that remake.
Yeah, me too. I was quite shocked.
I still can't wrap my head around it. I'm sure there is some justifiable, maybe legal reason that they couldn't use that unreleased version, but baffling.
Apparently, apparently it was. So I listened to a podcast about this specific thing, and apparently it was to do with they jumped the gun on making that version. They thought they would be able to get permission to release it, but they couldn't get the rights. And it just went into a closet, and then Nintendo weren't happy with all that kind of stuff. And so with the version they've done again is a separate version of the XBLA one, I think it was, or the Xbox Live Arcade. I think that's what it was going to go on. And apparently the reason why they haven't done those things is because they just weren't allocated the funds to do it. That's what I've heard. I think it was Nate the Hate. I think Nate the Hate said that on a podcast a couple of months ago, but I can't be sure.
It is bonkers to me that they dedicate members of staff to making a game that they haven't got the okay for.
Yeah.
That is absolutely mad. Like, you could be working on something else that's actually going to come out.
Mm.
And
Stuff
what
like
is a couple months going to help?
Stuff like that happens when people acquire studios and they assume that certain rights come with it sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Because they did the same with Perfect Dark as well. The exact same thing with Perfect Dark. And obviously they had the rights to that because that was just a rare game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite excited. Like I said, I think we should try and give the multiplayer a go. I can't imagine we'll play it for too long because once you've had a good session of that, it's like, okay, that's fine. I've got it on my system. We'll move on. But I'll probably beat the game again.
Are you planning to get Dead Space day one?
Potentially, yeah.
So that comes out on Friday as well.
That comes out. That is coming. It's all to do with cash. I probably have enough money to buy it, but like I'm torn between a couple of games right now. I mean, realistically, I have more time because
what are you torn between?
I've lost my wife at the moment because Fire Emblem came out and she's completely consumed.
It's so good.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I don't know whether to play it while she's playing it or wait until she's done and then play it myself because I will beat the game quicker than her and I don't want to accidentally spoil anything or say anything. I'd rather be spoiled. I can deal with that. Like she loves those games. I don't want to spoil anything for her, so it might be a couple of months before I play that game. But I was looking at Dead Space. That game looks sensational. And reviews come out in like 2 days. So tomorrow actually. I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, what time is it? Okay, it's 10:02. Let's move on to the Microsoft stuff.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off kind of serious because I think it comes under this big topic of Microsoft at the moment. Why we had a conversation before we started this where we said Microsoft need to have a banger of a direct because in the last week they've not had a good week. Microsoft laid off like 10,000 employees last week, which is 4.5% of their whole entire workforce, which is insane. There was loads of people in the gaming sector who released, like 343 Industries lost a lot of people to the point where some people started saying that like, are they going to take Halo off them? They're not, but they took a lot of people from 343 Industries. There was two other companies as well, specifically. I can't remember who they were off the top of my head. But yeah, that happened last week, and a lot of people are obviously sad, upset, like angry, as rightfully should, because there's a lot of companies at the moment who are releasing people for what seems like no reason at all. It just seems like, there might be a recession, so let's just cut our staff by like 4 or 5% because
in years of record profits as well.
Yeah. It's insane and it's awful and it's really bad. It's really that's a really, really bad situation. And to be fair, Phil Spencer came out and he did seem pretty gutted. I guess at the same time he is a CEO he's the CEO of Microsoft, right? He is, as in like that is his job. He's CEO.
He's in charge of
Xbox,
president or head of Xbox.
Yes. President, something.
It changes. It's changed again, isn't it?
I'll Google it. I would be willing to bet that the layoffs weren't entirely up to him.
This is over his head.
Satya Nadella and that side of Microsoft.
100%. Like
apparently, Phil Spencer is a television personality, a property investor from location.
Ah. Let's blame him.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
So Phil Spencer is CEO of Microsoft
CEO.
Gaming.
Okay, there we are. Okay, cool. So yeah, this does, and Callum made a really good point. It does seem like this is something that's come from over his head because I mean they've thousands of other employees have gone from all the sectors across Microsoft. So this isn't just him. This is from above him. And to be fair, I saw something really ridiculous. I saw an interview with a guy and someone was like, oh, see, you can be a CEO who's empathetic and release 10,000 people from their contract. And he's just like, have you seen that episode of South Park where we're sorry, like where basically they're tipping oil all over the place and like they're just like, oh, we need to apologize to the world. It's like, sorry, and he's just like apologizing in these really like cutesy moments. He's like naked behind the. That's basically what it was. It was just him looking really sad, saying, "I'm sorry, we just like got rid of 10,000 people as we're making record profits." Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's kind of the start of the week. Like, they actually have had loads of like news come out that Game Pass has done really well in the last year, and it's actually improved that they've actually improved their numbers. Loads of other things have gone on with Xbox themselves. I think this whole, for me, the reason I wanted to bring this up was because, let's be honest, last year was not great for Xbox. It was a pretty poor year, and it's not their fault because obviously I'd say not their fault. Ultimately, their intention was to release Starfield and Redfall last year, and if they had released those two games, particularly Starfield, I don't think anyone would have been anywhere near as critical of the last year. But like, this feels like it needs to be a big year, right? This feels like it needs to be a big direct. Like, they need to allay a lot of the fears, especially because they missed the Game Awards as well.
That was really surprising that they didn't show anything at the Game Awards. They love showing off something big there, but I guess it's them learning that, oh, hold on, maybe we need to like take a step back and only show stuff when we're actually ready, and not announce a date for a game that maybe even the studio is like, hold on, there is no way we're hitting that date.
Yeah.
So yeah, beware. Like Xbox, you need to learn your lesson eventually. Don't put release dates on your games until they're ready to release.
It's tough. I do feel for them. Microsoft have been in a tricky position for a long time.
Yeah.
After how much they struggled in the last console generation, trying to come back from that has been really difficult. While they've bought a lot of studios, and so every time they do one of these events, everyone's waiting for all these new big hitters to come out. They've bought so many studios. Where are all of their games? Well, games take a long time to make nowadays.
Yep.
But also they don't want it to look like nothing's going on. So you have to. So it's a tough one to balance. You don't want to announce things too early, but also you can't spend like 3 years looking like you're doing nothing.
Yeah, saying nothing.
Because you want to wait until close to release to reveal things. So we still do get reveals.
Oh, really quickly, I was just to jump onto your point really quickly. I saw a tweet the other day which basically said that if a video game was to be planned now, it would take 6 years to be realistically about six. A AAA game would probably take around about 6 years. That's the average time it takes to make a game. So realistically, we'd already be looking at the next console generation. Just to jump onto what.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it was a whole thread by reporter Jason Schreier,
Jason Schreier,
who did the whole deep dive and was like, games that are entering pre-production now, you're probably looking at being next gen games, or at least cross gen games, which is mad, but that is where we're at now. And so, we do still get things like the Perfect Dark trailer that was made and released before they even started real development, and Hideo Kojima saying to a webcam that he's making a game for Xbox, and then we're going to hear nothing about it for the next however many years because it's this huge ambitious thing.
And before we hear anything about it, we get a trailer for Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Where is this other game? Does it exist even?
And that's the thing. They just right now they're in a position where they need to keep promising, look, games are coming. But the problem with that is, as soon as you say we're making this game, every Xbox event now, there are going to be questions like, where is Perfect Dark? Where is Kojima's game?
Avowed, Fable.
Yep.
Yeah, all
these games. I mean, I'm so excited for all of them, but at the same time, where are they?
And so it's unfortunate. And fingers crossed, eventually when all these games come out, they're all fantastic. And then from then on, we're seeing this steady stream of great first-party Xbox games. But for a while, I think we're going to have a few... Personally, I think we're going to have a few more 2022s. I think we're going to have a few more pretty quiet years from Xbox. Hopefully, after that, we can then have a few years of bangers. But
yeah, I think like if they can get like start with Starfield, Redfall, like those two like should be coming out this year. Forza as well. Like I think that they should have a good year this year, and if they can set people's expectations right with this direct really needs to be good, and I think it will be. I do genuinely believe that. Like as we've kind of said, it feels like they might have held stuff back from the Game Awards for this event because they were like, no, we know that like last year was a little bit of a disappointment, or even a big one to them. You know, they might consider it even bigger than me just saying a little one, but. That I think they need to go. I'm not saying this is going to be the best event ever. I just think more like dates more than anything else. Give us dates, even if it's just we're looking to release. We want to release this next spring. Like, okay, cool. Okay, well, we know it's gonna, like, it might come then. Like, that's the kind of area we're aiming for. Like, just give people information. I think that's the thing people have mostly been nervous with. And like I said, it kind of ties in with everything we're talking about. Like, I think Microsoft need a good direct, and I'm really hopeful for it. Like, I want them to have a good direct. I'm really excited
100%.
because there's going to be, like, man, I can't wait to play Starfield. Like, genuinely, in a year of Breath of the Wild, it's got me almost as hyped. Breath of the Wild 2, I should say. It's got me almost as hyped, which is mad to me. But Dav, do you have anything to add to Xbox this year before we start switching over? Because it's coming up to 4 minutes to. Well, no, it is 4 minutes to.
They said they wanted 4 premier titles to come out every year. This year, in theory, they've got Redfall, Starfield, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, and then they've got an Elder Scrolls expansion, probably a Sea of Thieves expansion somewhere in there. So assuming they're not talking about expansions, that's their 4 games.
Yeah.
So we're about to see 3 of those right now. So we need to see something really impressive from those.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, what we'll do then is we will leave it there for people who are listening to the podcast, because we're about to spend the next 40 minutes being quiet as little bunnies. That's what we're going to be. So we're going to say goodbye to anyone that's listening to the podcast, and to anyone that's staying with us. We're just going to switch over our cameras and stuff. Just to make sure that everything's looking really good. But we'll stick around because we will be here. We're going to watch the Xbox Direct in the next 3 minutes. Once again, bye everyone listening to the podcast.
Tatty, bye.
Bye.
Bye.